are live. Welcome to episode number 96 of Explode Your Expert Biz. Today we are talking about how to create courses that get results. This conversation started from the latest podcast episode number 95 with the one and the only Daniel Geffen, and we were talking with Daniel Geffen, and he just released today a book called The Self-Help Addict, and in his book shares about how to what happens with people consuming content and do nothing with that. And that's a great book for everyone who consumes content over content over content over content, but then does nothing with that. But then I think we have a responsibility here. As coaches, as experts, as consultants, we want to be able to create our courses in a way that actually gives our clients results. We are able to not guarantee, because it's very difficult to guarantee. The clients need to put the work in, but to do the best we can to create the environment so that our clients can get results. So that's what we are going to talk about in this live today. So if you are joining live, thank you very much for watching live. Leave me a whoop whoop so I can see that you are there. If you are listening to the show, thank you very much for listening on the podcast, and make sure that you subscribe right now. Now, if you want to win more than £10,000 worth of coaching and services, we help you to get to six figures, and just absolutely for free. Then you need to do three things. Number one is to like, number two is to comment, and number three is to share this live. And in the comment, give me a whoop whoop like Anna just did. Thank you very much, Anaksu, for joining. Really appreciate it. Awesome accountant. If you need an accountant, make sure that you check out Anna. She is absolutely awesome. Now, let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's stop fluffing about. Let's start the music. We are talking about creating programs that gets people results. So let's explore why people don't get results. In the interview with Daniel, we explored that one of the reasons why is definitely information overload, which means there are too many information. There is way too much information. You find informations everywhere, and you can read and learn from blog posts, from podcasts, from articles, from webinars, from seminars. So now people have access to information freely, something that they didn't have before, not as much. Then what happened? Then the courses are still delivered in the same old way, without understanding that now people don't need more information, but they need a better structure, they need a better follow-up, they need a better implementation. And that's what is really the key here. If you want to create a course that gets people results, if you want to create a course that gives people tangible results, then you want to think about, how can I create it in a way where I'm going to support them, where I'm going to help them out every single step of the way. So how do we do that? How do we create that? I need to say hi, Rohini, as well. Great to see you here. And Anna said, I agree, a lot of fancy stuff there. It can be very distracting. Absolutely, Anna. It can be absolutely distracting. And we don't want to give this to our clients. So what can we do? Number one is to understand that there is too much information. So instead of giving more information, give less information. Actually, people will pay you more if you give them less information. Really cool. People will pay you more if you give them less information. But then you need to give the information in a way which is structured, which actually helps them out. Because otherwise, if you're just giving less information, then they say, well, are you ripping me off, really? No, you don't want to feel that that is a rip-off. You want to make them feel that they get information, but it's the structure. So give them less and focus on an outcome. So think about it. If there is one outcome that I can focus my reader, my listeners, my the people that are going through this course, and this goes even for books. Absolutely, it works for books too. Focus on one outcome that you can give, and then break it down step by step, because now what happens, as we said, people are overwhelmed by the information. But this creates another great thing, which means that now people crave implementation, right? People, now they're overwhelmed by information, but they crave implementation. So everything that you do, think about what kind of implementable plans I can give them, what I can help them with, how can I support them. Because in this way, if you think about the implementation, then immediately you're following up the first step, which is how much are the information that you're giving out, with a structure to help them implement that information, but not when they finish everything, step by step. Because this is the problem. If you create a course or a book where you split information and implementation, so there are all the informations first and then implementation after, that's what's going to happen. People are not going to follow through, right? And that becomes like Daniel Geffen says, the self-help addict that doesn't do anything about that. Now, make sure that you check the link for his book, as we said. But then what you want to do instead is to create information and implementation alongside. So let's say I'll tell you how to do something, what to do, and then I'll tell you immediately how to do it. And I'm not going to give you the next step up until you have finished then the step number one. Now, of course, if you're creating a course, that can work. But if you're writing a book, that will not happen. It will not work, unfortunately. So what can we do? What can we do to make this happen? In a book, for example, you have the chapter where you give the information, and then at the end of the book, immediately, exercise implementation with a worksheet. So the worksheet, it becomes included in the book. This is a great way to structure your courses in a way that sells, and that gives them value, and gets them to finish. Now, what else can we do? Another big problem is what we call accountability. Now, without accountability, very few people follow through, because it's human nature. More people follow through if they have accountability and someone checking on them. Now, with a book, it's pretty difficult, but not impossible. So let's think about how can we do this in a book or in a video course, something that is a do-it-yourself service where you create it once and then that's it. Well, you create a support community around the book. Create a Facebook group. You can create a membership site around the group where there are people that are there to support and help each other implementing those plans. So that's one thing that you can do, which is almost hands-off. You might need a community manager for it, which actually I would recommend it. Otherwise, there will be a lot of spammers going in and promoting their stuff. But that's one thing that you can do. If you're running a course, for example, how do we do the accountability? Well, this is something that we implement in all our courses right now. Even if it's an online course for $47 or $30, we are always going to provide that, which is a personal coach following up with everyone who participates. Now, it's structured, they don't have a limited session, it's a one-off session. But there is a coach which is helping them out. Then, to provide that accountability, I check everyone who is subscribed, who said that is going to take that particular course. And then what am I going to do? Every morning, I'm going to put a post where I'm tagging and welcoming and congratulating with everyone who is completed the task, who has completed the action, who did the exercises, because I've seen the exercise if they posted it or not. Hello, Danny. Great to see you. Thank you very much for joining. And then what I'm going to do as well, I'm going to put in the same post a message saying, hey, also I've seen that you guys didn't receive the course, or you didn't submit your action. What was going on? So what happens? How does this work? It works. Thank you, Barry. I appreciate good stuff. Rohini says accountability is key. Absolutely. Guys, if you have any question as well, I'm in for the next 10-15 minutes. So make sure that you ask me any questions that you have here about creating these courses that deliver incredible value. So what we are doing as well, we are going to put a post in the post the people that haven't completed the task. So what psychologically create is a sense of rewarding publicly the behavior that we want them to have, which is completing, because they will complete, they will get value from the course, and for me it means they will buy more stuff from me, and for them it means they will get more results, and also they will give me better testimonials. Becomes an absolute win-win. So yes, it's more work up front for us as a company, but it works for the client and it works for us in the long term. It's not just about the short term, it's also about the long term. And then what happens, so it will encourage the behavior that we want and will discourage the behavior that we don't want. It's kind of publicly saying, admitting, hey, you committed to this and you haven't done it. What happened? In front of everyone else. Now, we can say that no one will feel good about that, right? And I don't want them to feel good about that. I want them to feel bad about not completing their task. Why? Because then they will feel good to complete it, and they will feel bad if they not complete it. Behavior, moving away from moving towards to. So there are these kind of psychological tricks and hacks that you can use in your in creating the courses. Another thing that you can do, talking about accountability, is to have someone checking in personally with the people that have not completed the tasks. So for example, if someone has said that they was going to do something, but then they didn't do it, then what we are going to do is to say, hey, we haven't received it. On top of publicly saying it, we are also sending them a private message. Say, hey, why haven't you done that? Now, what this creates is this ripple effect of them that they feel that they care about. Now, they will feel actually, I'm not left on my own. People care about me. I appreciate it. And then also on the other side, it will be a kick in the ass. Because that's what we want. We want them to get a good kick in the ass. You said you're going to do this program. I understand we are all business owners, we are all busy, but we got to do stuff. So before I move on to the next one, I've got a few questions and a few comments here that I would love to read. And guys, if you're listening to the podcast and not attending the live sessions every Tuesday at 7 p.m., what are you waiting for? Come and join us live. You can ask me all the questions. Rohini said, win-win, my favorite business ethos. Love this, Simone. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And then we had Barry, and Barry said, the only caveat is to time your comments when you know the majority of people have a time in different zone that can delay response. This is a very good point, Barry, which I'll bear it definitely in mind as you're part of our course right now. So the only caveat is something that you need to bear in mind, as Barry's saying right now, is that there might be people in different time zones, so you can definitely have to monitor the response in a way that allows people to complete the exercise if they are in different time zones. That's an absolutely good point. We have as well Peter that says, it feels like extra work that is not much worth doing. Yes, Peter, we can say that is extra work, because is extra work. Absolutely, we can say that, Peter. However, the point is that is extra work. But what are you interested in, right? Because it might not be worth doing for you. But then if you really care about your customers, then it's worth doing it for them, because I care about them getting their results. That's what I care about. I want them to get the results. So I'll go the extra mile. But also because they see that word, I go the extra mile, they know that if they will buy something which is even more expensive, then it will be worth even more. There's going to be even more support. We are there for them. Now the trend that we can see is, you can see a lot of times, is just because people see, oh, this is too much extra work, I'm not going to do it. So that's what everyone else is doing. So what you want to do is move away from this trend. That's what you want to do. You want to make sure that you move away from this trend. And as we are saying, even if it feels that is extra work, I get it, it's extra work, but you want to move away from that trend, and you want to make sure that people know that you are there for them, even if they don't spend much money with you. Because then that's where they will spend the big money, because now they trust you. Now they see, wow, I've given you this little and you gave me this much. Now I'll give you this much. So that's why it's worth it in the long run. I know that we are having some issues now with the live, so it's connecting and disconnecting. So guys, thank you very much for keeping following, but the podcast is still recording in the background as we are talking right now. So guys, thank you for bearing here with the issues that we have with the live jumping in and off connection. I don't know what's happening right now. But then the podcast episode show is completely recorded, because I'm recording it on a separate platform. Then we have Barry says, or perhaps post the time and zone when you invite them to complete it by each day. That's a great suggestion, Barry, to look at different time zones and to post the time and the zone. I absolutely love that. Thank you. So now we have discussed different ways. That we can do to help our clients get even more results that we can apply. We have Rohini that says, make your customer valued and they will prove invaluable to you. Oh yes, Rohini, that's my philosophy. That's what, and I will prove value to you. Absolutely, that's what I believe. And that's our ethos. And I believe that if, as an expert, you run your business in that way, then more clients will come to you and you will become an authority faster. Because it's all about from becoming expert to authorities. And as an authority, you want other people to talk about you consistently in positive terms. That's what an authority is. You have people that they say he's the best at the very thing that your area of expertise, the best in the world. But it's not just because you know the most. You're not the best in the world because you know the most. You become the best in the world because you can deliver the best results with what you know. So you might be, of course, the one you know the most, but then if you just know and you're the only one getting results with what you know, then what's the freaking point? You're great, you have a great expertise, but you are not an expert teaching, right? Not a teacher. Well, what we are is teacher here. So let's explore one more thing that we can do before we wrap up this show to create courses that get results. One thing is to make the course easy to digest. Now, probably you've been already in other courses where, there are 5 hours long videos, 3 hours long videos, 2 hours long videos, 1.5 hours long video. The person who recorded the video doesn't even know what he's talking about because he's fluffing about in front of a camera. There is no structure whatsoever. Don't do that, because that will not give results. This will put people off from consuming the content. What you want to give people is get quick wins. So you want to make your content short to consume, maximum 5 minutes videos. If you need to explain a concept, do a 10-minute video, but rather create multiple videos to finish a topic rather than creating a big one. Why? Because then people, if they say, wow, I need to leave an hour and a half of my time to do it, I can't do that, I'll do it tomorrow. I can't do that, I'll do it tomorrow. But if I say, hey, it's just a 5-minute video, watch it. Now, what I do, I create 6 5-minute video, but by the time you finish the first one, you want to know what's the next one. You want to know what the third one. You want to know what's the fourth one. So you might end up spending a 1 hour. But there are 1 hour small videos, which for you, it feels that because you're doing exercises along every video, it breaks down the learning doing pattern. And as well, it makes you feel, I've achieved something. And you have achieved something, and you have achieved something more. And then you have achieved something more. And then you have achieved something more. So think about your topic and split it up in smaller chunks, in very small micro chunks. Even if a video takes you 2 minutes to deliver, great. Create a 2 minutes video, give them an exercise. 3 minutes video, an exercise. Generally, I tend to use 5 minutes and maximum 10 minutes for the longest one. These are the things that I use the most. Then, of course, you can decide your length and how many videos are you going to create, also depending from the platforms that you're going to use, which is the last thing that I want to cover with you guys. And again, if you have any few last questions, thank you for everyone who's watching live, by the way. And we have Barry, we have Rohini, we have Peter, we have Danny, Hannah. It's great to see you here, guys. So now the other thing that we are talking about is the platform that you use. How are you going to deliver that content? You want to make sure that the platform you use, the delivery mechanism, is simple to use and is where they are. Now, if the majority of people, of your clients, are on LinkedIn, don't create a bloody Facebook group for the course. Or for the book. Why? Because you want to put the group or the support or the delivery mechanism where they already are. So a lot of our clients are on Facebook. It makes sense to create a Facebook group. In fact, like 1 or 2, they might not be part of the Facebook group just because they don't want to be part of it. But all the others, yes, they are. Now, if your clients are on LinkedIn, don't create a Facebook group, create a LinkedIn group. One thing. Don't be smart and create a customized platform where people can interact and comment. Don't be smarty pants like that. Why? Because there are already platforms. There are already platforms that are possible to use. They are possible to be used that are possible to be used that already deliver that kind of engagement that you're looking for. That's the kind of things that you want. You want to create that kind of platform and to use a platform where your clients are. Don't create another separate one, but just use Facebook or LinkedIn groups. They are great enough to deliver support to your audience. And then we have another thing, which is the platform where you are going to deliver the course. There are great platforms like Thinkific, Teachable, Udemy. They are awesome and they don't cost much. A lot of them are free. If you want to be a bit of smarty pants, you can have a membership site integrated with your website. That works incredibly well, having a membership site integrated with your website. And then another things that could be really powerful to do as well is to have other external membership site platforms that you can use. But make it simple. Make it simple. The most important things that you can do right now is to make this thing simple. That's the most important thing you can do. Guys, thank you very much for watching the broadcast here on Facebook Live. I know tonight we had a bit of technical issues, but you were here with us and I really appreciate it for sticking until the end. If you're listening to the podcast right now, thank you for watching. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for listening and for listening, not watching, if you're listening to the podcast. This has been episode number 96. We are closer than ever to our 100th episode. Whoa, we're going to do something special for that show, so stay tuned. And also leave me a review. I would really appreciate it. It helps me with the ranking on iTunes. So if you find any value from these courses, you know that I treat this as like my paid product. I'll give you everything I know. I would really appreciate if you give me a 5-star review and a comment. It will mean a lot to me just for you taking the time. And then send me a message. Say, Simone, I left your review and I can thank you personally. I would love to know that. I appreciate it. Well, thank you very much. And now it's time to say goodbye and see you next episode, number 97. If you haven't gotten Daniel Geffen book, which we discussed on the past episode, The Self-Help Addict, get the book and check the episode with Daniel, which is The Self-Help Addict. Make sure that you check it out. That was episode number 95. Thank you again, and remember one thing. Together, we grow exponentially. Ciao.